Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to my subscribers lesson about IELTS speaking and writing session. It's Thursday morning here in the UK, and our local time is 6:28 a.m. Once again, I'm with my subscriber lessons. Dear viewers, this lesson is mostly designed and developed for IELTS speaking and writing sessions. If you are interested to join it here, it's very easy. If you see the subscribe button, you have to just click on it or visit my profile and get the free lessons. And also, you might subscribe with a Hello Cash for a whole month. As you might be aware, in return, you will get 8 and hourly lessons, which is twice weekly. And advantages are very often go to public live stream and you can join there and practice your English. Amazingly, it's a factual matter that the more you practice, the more you'll be confident and your motivation will be increased, as well as your positive energy inside you, when you will see that you are really progressing a lot. So let's move on, guys. It's all about your IELTS exam. Have you ever felt disappointed because of your English speaking you don't get good score? Have you ever felt dejected because of your writing you don't get enough score? Have you ever become saddened because when you speak no one understands you? If any of these answers is yes, most probably these classes will help you develop your English. These classes will help you gain your score. So welcome once again, guys. It's all about IELTS exam. Uh, Today's discussion is also speaking task, which is the last part of the exam. And if you've got any questions or comments, you are more than welcome to ask me in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer it. So if you're aware, these 4 criteria are important for getting good scores in the speaking section: fluency and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation. So we'll discuss today from the video of the British Council where playing the demonstration of this exam. So let's move on, guys. We'll discuss today grammar IELTS exam. So let's watch this small video. That's the instruction from the British Council of the UK.
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Good for you. It's the test for study, work, and life. The IELTS speaking test is divided into 3 sections. Part 1 is an introduction and general questions. Part 2 is the long turn. And Part 3 is an analytical discussion. Here we look at the criteria of grammatical range and accuracy. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. This criteria focuses on the range and accuracy of the test taker's grammar while speaking. Look for our accompanying downloads for examples of the range of grammatical structure. The range of grammar includes using a variety of complex structures. These are sentences with multiple bits of information. Contrast that to separate, simple sentences with a single piece of information. For example, just beside the station was a stadium which was built in the 19th century and where games are now held every weekend. It isn't expected that candidates are 100% accurate. However, control is important. The Band 7 definition for grammatical range and accuracy says, frequently produces error-free sentences, though some grammatical mistakes persist. It's not just the number of grammatical mistakes, but also how seriously these mistakes block communication. To improve your grammar, take these steps. Be prepared. Make sure that you know the speaking test format and what type of questions to expect in each section. Many tasks in Part 2 of the IELTS speaking test relate to the past, so you most likely use past tenses. Ensure you know the past tenses of common verbs. Some questions in Part 3 ask you to speculate about the future, so use the right tenses in the answers to reflect this. Look out for the British Council's Johnny Grammar apps and videos that can help explain the commonly used tenses for you. Practice. Particularly think about the tenses you use. Ensure these relate to the questions. If the question asked is, what did you do at work today? The main word here is did, which is in the past tense, so your answer should be in the past tense too. For example, today I wrote a business brief. Don't worry if you realize you've made a mistake. It's okay to correct yourself. Record yourself speaking and listen to identify errors. IELTS results range from band scores of 1 to 9. However, there are not specific questions for different band scores, and there can't be as the score isn't assigned until the end of the speaking test. Also, remember there are no quotas for IELTS band scores. Each individual is scored on their own merits. For more information, please see the other speaking test videos: Fluency and Coherence, Lexical Resource and Accuracy, and Pronunciation.
Okay, I believe that we have to replay.
You've decided to take the IELTS exam. Good for you. It's the test for study, work, and life. The IELTS speaking test is divided into 3 sections. Part 1 is an introduction and general questions. Part 2 is the long turn. And Part 3 is an analytical discussion. Here we look at the criteria of grammatical range and accuracy. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. This criteria focuses on the range and accuracy of the test taker's grammar while speaking. Look for our accompanying downloads for examples of the range of grammatical structure. The range of grammar includes using a variety of complex structures. These are sentences with multiple bits of information. Contrast that to separate, simple sentences with a single piece of information. For example, just beside the station was a stadium which was built in the 19th century and where games are now held every weekend. It isn't expected that candidates are 100% accurate. However, control is important. The Band 7 definition for grammatical range and accuracy says frequently produces error-free sentences, though some grammatical mistakes persist. It's not just the number of grammatical mistakes, but also how seriously these mistakes block communication. To improve your grammar, take these steps. Be prepared. Make sure that you know the speaking test format and what type of questions to expect in each section. Many tasks in Part 2 of the IELTS speak test relate to the past, so you most likely use past tenses. Ensure you know the past tenses of common verbs. Some questions in Part 3 ask you to speculate about the future, so use the right tenses in the answers to reflect this. Look out for the British Council's Johnny Grammar apps and videos that can help explain the commonly used tenses for you. Practice. Particularly think about the tenses you use. Ensure these relate to the questions. If the question asked is, "What did you do at work today?" the main word here is did, which is in the past tense, so your answer should be in the past tense too. For example, today I wrote a business brief. Don't worry if you realize you've made a mistake. It's okay to correct yourself. Record yourself speaking and listen to identify errors. IELTS results range from band scores of 1 to 9. However, there are not specific questions for different band scores, and there can't be, as the score isn't assigned until the end of the speaking test. Also, remember there are no quotas for IELTS band scores. Each individual is scored on their own merits. For more information, please see the other speaking test videos: Fluency and Coherence, Lexical Resource and Accuracy, and Pronunciation.
Okay, dear viewers, that's the small video from the British Council about the IELTS grammar part. So welcome, Valia, and thanks for the subscription. If you've got time, possibly you might be able to hop on here. So join me. Today's topic of the speaking part is English grammar. So dear viewers, once again, welcome to my IELTS speaking part. And today's discussion point is grammar. How much important the grammar in the IELTS exam? As you might be aware, in speaking part, you'll get 25% mark on the IELTS exam, which means you'll get 2.25 out of 9 if your grammar is correct. So once again, the other criteria are fluency and coherence, lexical resources, wider ranges of grammar and accuracy, and the last one is pronunciation. Bear in mind, in order to get good marks in grammar, we must know all the grammar rules. Those grammar which is important for your writing as well as speaking. Bear in mind that in the speaking part, though it is not expected that the candidate might get 100% accuracy, even in writing, but it is expected that the candidate must answer the questions accordingly, which is why it is better to know the IELTS exam format. And also you can expect what kind of questions you are going to see in the exam. Okay, So pronunciation is the last part, and before that, grammar, wide ranges grammar and accuracy. And what do you mean by that, guys? Okay, though the video has highlighted most of the parts, but I'm going to give you a little bit more insight so that you know. So what does it mean exactly? Wider ranges of grammar and accuracy. Well, guys, I must uh, clarify that when you're answering a question, it is better to follow the question pattern, what the examiner asks you. So each and every question has a grammar pattern. It could be present tense, or it could be a past tense, or it could be future tense. And this is like a magic information that if you understand the questions, you know, it will be easier for you to respond to them correctly. So that's the reason you should understand the grammar rules. So as you might be aware that we've got three types of tenses in grammar: past tense, present tense, and future tense. And obviously, depending on the subject and verb, the tenses are different. And in order to use grammar, we must understand the important part of participles, which is verb, especially regular and irregular verb, which are mostly used in our sentences as well as in our speaking. So we'll give you a little bit highlight about regular and irregular verb. I'm sure you already know that though, but I'm going to give some highlights. And also, we have to understand the present tense, past tense, and past participle of those verbs, regular and irregular verbs, and irregular verbs. So regular verbs are those which takes ed in the past and past participle at the end when you're changing, like ask, help, stress, act, then excite, etc. Okay, so when you're making past tense, we have to use the past form of the verb, which is asked. Okay, I've heard it some people pronounce it asked. That is quite wrong pronunciation. Remember, it is only monosyllable or single syllable. Ask, asked, asked. Though the T sounds like T, but it is the way it should be pronounced. And for any sound or pronunciation, if you're not sure, you can always cross-check from a dictionary. Do not check from the Google dictionary. I never suggest anyone to check it from there, but it will be better for you if you go to the individual dictionary site like Oxford or Cambridge or Merriam-Webster, maybe Collins. So it is helped. So stressed, acted, excited, excited. So be aware the regular and irregular verbs. and that's very much important. So these are some of them. And other irregular verbs, as you might be aware, that change the root form in past tense and past participle. And the most common irregular verbs that use oftentimes, speaking as well as in writing are go, went, gone, do, did, done. Okay. Then dream. Dreamed, dreamt, both are correct. So, okay, so so this is the bar and using a variety of complex sentence structure. And so, as you might be aware, we have to be careful about using complex sentence, very complex sentence structures, okay? And also, yeah, that it is not expected that you'll get 100% accuracy in speaking, and don't worry about making mistakes. But it should be here. We got to be careful about those mistakes that block our communication, and use the sentence structure, and you should be aware about the format of the exam. So in order to develop your grammar part, I suggest that it's better for you if you record your speaking in your mobile phone, then you listen to it. Okay. So next one is, as I was saying, record your speaking. So what happens when you record speaking? Many cases, you'll be surprised to hear your own voice. Oh, you can't believe, oh, is that my voice? It happened to me when I first recorded my voice. And it has been shocking for me because I couldn't recognize my own voice when it has been recorded. So these are the common criteria for accuracy. Now, the matter is that, and the challenging part of this grammar, that I've got the questions from many of our learners, that how do I know that my grammars are correct or not? Likewise, when they write English sentences, they ask the same question. How do I know my written part or sentence are correct or not? Well, that's really challenging for you if you don't know how to assess or determine it. In that case, it will be better for you to subscribe to a qualified and competent teacher, the teacher who can help you explain, the teacher who can help you showing how you can amend yourself once you become expert of those grammar structures and grammar skills. So once again, in grammar part, we use wide range of grammar. So what does it mean? I'm going to give you some examples so that it will be easier for you. So have a look on my screen. Bear in mind that practice is the magic word or the key factor. If you don't practice it, there is no way you can develop it. You ask any successful person about like a cricketer or a footballer or any other sports person who is successful in their lives, they will answer that practice. And you'll be surprised to know how many hours they practice every day. Minimum, though there is no minimum, honestly, maximum, though there is no maximum either. It depends on the person's individual, individual practice target. Some people practice 4 hours, 6 hours, 10, 12, even 16 hours in a day. Okay, so let's show some wider ranges of grammar accuracy, and we'll go with an example, very common example. And also we have to know the different, parts of speech with the same word. We call it word family. As you see, I've given an example earlier, like beautiful, beautifully, beauty, beautician, beautifying. What is beautifying, guys? Beautifying is gerund, gerund, gerund. Okay. Beautification is noun. Beautifying is adverb. Okay, let's move on to grammatical accuracy. Okay. Say, this is the sentence of our questions, these two. Do you like watching movies? You can answer yes or no. Yes, no. All right. I've heard it many cases, many candidates answered this way. Bear in mind that in IELTS exam, do not be limited to short answer. When you're answering, use at least one full sentence or one complete sentence that makes sense. There is nothing wrong saying yes or no, but if somebody says, yes, I like watching movies, I'm sure that you have noticed the pattern of this question. What do you like watching movies? So they have used kind of gerund. And generally, that is the grammar rule. After like or love, if you use second verb, you must take verb with ing form. So which is gerund, okay? And if somebody answers, yes, I like watching movies. If somebody says, yes, I love watching movies, of different genre, or you could say, no, I don't. I don't like. And if someone says, again, no, any kind of movies. Somebody might say, no, I don't like any kind of genre of the movies. And now you can see that this one answer may have different types of expression depending on the person's individual response, how the person responds to your questions. So it is very important for you being an IELTS candidate. You should be careful which type of expression you like to use in your communication. So Do not be limited to yes or no. Say yes, and then you just explain a little bit with one or two complete sentences. Yes, I like watching movies, or yes, I love watching movies of different genre. Or you can say simply, no, I don't like watching movies. No, I don't like any kind of movies. Or you can say, no, I don't like any kind of genre. I don't. Okay. So that's the answer of the question. It's a simple question. Remember that this is a present tense, and you have nouns in present tense. If you haven't noticed from the video, there are some of the things were highlighted uh, using variety of complex sentence structures. We'll go a little bit further down about this one with another question like, do you have hobbies? Do you have hobbies? If so, describe them. Or you can say, what do you do in your free time? Sometimes the examiner might ask these questions this way: what do you do in your free time? Rather than, do you have hobbies? Now, look at the simple question. It can be answered in a different way. Um, these are some of the answers from my real life classes when I asked my subscribers, and one of them answered this way: yes. Do you have hobbies? The answer is yes. I like to take photos of nature. Sometimes I like to walk. Also, sometimes I like to make cake and going with my friends to picnic. Okay, look at this answer, then I'll explain bit by bit. The second student answered, I like to take photos of nature. Anyway, I just had to rephrase this because if you notice that uh, I like to walk, and second and third sentence are similar. So we got to be careful. Okay, and so I just had to rephrase those sentences for better marks. Look at this, my answer, which I explained to the candidate. I like to take photos of nature. Sometimes walking is my habit too. Sometimes, look again, making cake is also uh, changes my mood. I also like hanging out with my friends to picnic. Well, it is one of them. It is not necessary that you have to follow my instructions. You can always write it different ways. So that is the wider ranges of grammar structure on different complex sentences. Okay, so someone has answered this way. I've got a few hobbies. I like gardening, reading books, and traveling. Nothing wrong with this answer. So I had to rephrase a little bit. I like gardening. One at a time, I read books, mainly thrillers, biography, traveling. So it will be better if you just categorize your answer with being specific, sources of books. What kind of books do you like? I'm sure you don't like all the books. You may like thrillers or biography or traveling kinds of books. So traveling is my another hobby. You can see that. So it was a bit better elaborated answer. And the third part of this grammar is don't worry about making mistakes. Okay. If you ever notice that you're making mistakes, you can amend it straight away. Okay. As I say, if you ever notice that you're making mistakes, and don't worry, more or less, as an IELTS candidate, we all make mistakes. If you ever read the band descriptions of IELTS exam, in band 7, they gave examples. There might be some mistakes and there might be some inaccuracy, but still you can get 7. So remember that. So there is no sometimes specific requirements to get the required score, but it's better to avoid mistakes where possible. And as I was saying earlier, if you ever find that you're making mistakes, and you can amend it straight away. And most of the common mistakes are in IELTS exam in some of the grammar parts, some of the collocations, and obviously some of the expressions. And I'm going to give you some of them today, because I've noticed from different students' responses as well as from many live streams even on this app that people use wrong grammar, especially if you're planning to get good scores in IELTS exam. And most common mistakes is this is one of them. Okay, I'm just writing mistakes in speaking section at exam. Number 1, give exam. Okay, what sometimes some people say, hey, I'm going to give exam this month, and if the examiner asks you, why are you taking the exam, or why are you giving exam? Okay, what does give exam mean? First you need to understand, give exam is not incorrect, but who can give you the exam? Your examiner can give you exam. Give you an exam for the test, yeah. And remember, give exam may be correct if the examiner says, so if I were the examiner and if I would say, hey, I would give an exam today for you so that you can test your exam or your score, whether it's grammar or speaking or reading or writing. Okay, but if you are a candidate should use take exam. Number 1. Number 2, appear it. Appear it or appear in. Appear in. Sit for. Write. You may participate if you want. Participate could be another one. But being a candidate, we don't say, I'm going to give exam. Being a candidate, we must say, I'm going to take the exam, I'm going to appear at the exam, or appear in the exam. Both are correct. Sit for the exam, write the exam, participate in the exam. So this is one of the most common mistakes that we make in IELTS speaking. Now, second part of the common mistakes are using the right collocation. If you are aware, correct collocation. So what is collocation? Our students sometimes do not understand. Uh, Honestly, collocation is an advanced part of English grammar. It is need to be explained well. So collocation is the natural way of explaining one word which takes the second part. In another easy and simplified explanation is that when you use a, a preposition after a word, collocation explains which one we should take naturally and which one we use most commonly and most frequently. One amazing example is that lions roar. Okay, we do not say lions shout. That would be incorrect. Similarly, babies shout or cry. Babies cry or shout. We do not say babies roar. So here, lions roar, babies cry or shout. These are natural way of writing. Likewise, another common mistakes I have seen, make mistake, and people say do mistake. No, that is incorrect. Babies roar, incorrect. Let me separate this. Okay, so we need to understand the collocation. So how should I know this is the correct collocation or not? You should study a little bit grammar. That will be my suggestion. And without studying grammar, it is much unlikely for you to understand collocation and how you can use it. If you remember, I have explained many times in my live stream that when you learn a word, learn the meaning, content, and context. That means how it can be written or used correctly. And that is the only way when you can understand whether there is a collocation with this word or not. So you got to be very careful when you're learning a new word. And also word family, if you remember, I explained in the lexical resource part. Okay, the other common collocation that you use very often, speaking and writing, like make a tea, make a cup of tea, yeah. Make a bed, make a bed. So you can learn these collocations. So collocations are also kind of phrasal verbs or group verbs. Remember that it could be preposition that is needed for the word, for the verb. Okay, and that's very important when you use grammar in your speaking. And the next part is that we should be careful about the mistakes that block communication. And what kind of mistakes are these? Remember, in spoken English, mistakes are acceptable and it is not expected that you will speak 100% accurately. So, say the question is the demonstration of present tense, like what is the situation of your country for the COVID? Now, you can see this is the present tense. And definitely, this is really an amazing question because it's present tense. Now, if you answer in past tense, then it will be wrong. But in most of the cases, it is observed and noticed that our learners always are confused using past tense. if the question is like that in an IELTS exam, that describe a childhood memory, okay, let me go there. Now, you have to understand that your childhood has gone long time ago, because now you're a grown up or adult. Okay, here the main part of the question is describe a childhood memory. Means you're describing a past event that took place long time ago, and obviously it's a grammar part where you must use the past tense. And I remember one of my subscribers started speaking like this: when I am 5 years old. I had to stop the person straight away. Then I said to the person, oh, how old are you now? The person said, I'm, say, an adult. Say, for example, 22 years old. So if you have used when I'm 5 years old, it means that at the moment you are 5 years old. You're trying to explain something from this age. Then the student realized, oh yes, I'm not 5 years old anymore. I'm an adult, I'm 22 years old. So then I spotted and highlighted the person's explanation. So when you're writing, see, it should be in past tense, when I was, rather than I am. And we go on. When I was 5 years old, a sad incident happened in my life. I remember this is my childhood memory. So as you see, you're describing a childhood memory, and the first sentence and the verb was correct. When I was 5 years old, a sad incident happened in my life. I remember that it's my childhood memory. Well, that's fine. And you have noticed that the second sentence, I remember that, because you're explaining now to the examiner or to your listener that that's your childhood memory. Okay, this question one more time. Childhood, describe a childhood memory. We're not describing only a childhood memory. We have to describe a little bit elaborative way. Remember, that is the amazing part. Now, if you ever use am in past sense or past tense, that is obviously blocking your message or the communication level to the audience or to your listener. So we should be careful about using this verb, especially in IELTS exam or job interview or any other communication where you have to demonstrate your communication skill. Bear in mind that we can only do that when you understand grammar well. And if you don't understand grammar well, in that case, I'll suggest you to study well to know grammar. But as a matter of fact, most of our learners and candidates, as well as subscribers, more or less they're aware of the grammar rules. But still we make mistakes. Why? That is the biggest question. The biggest challenging part of using grammar correctly is by using them in your writing and in speaking, and get an assessment from a qualified and competent teacher. Bear in mind that otherwise it will be difficult for you to determine and find your own mistakes. And as I always share, mistakes are our learning tools. As long as you can learn from it, as long as you learn the corrected form. as long as you can learn and move forward. Every mistake should be your inspiration. Every mistake should be taken as a positive attribute for your learning curve, and every mistake should be your energy that will help you move forward. You know, if you remember the scientist Einstein who said that I wouldn't learn until I make mistake. Likewise, I say to you guys at the moment, I was quite bad at English grammar when I was in school, especially up to class 7 or year 7. All my writings, all my exams, always I could pass and tightly. So in our country, as you might be aware, the pass marks is 33% out of 100. I could get maybe 35, 36, and my parents were unhappy, and my brothers were unhappy too. And they asked me how we can improve this grammar situation. However, the solution came when my nephew, who passed away, learned grammar from a local teacher, and after that, he taught me. I'm really, really grateful to him. And I learned the grammar within 3 months. And as a matter of fact, after that, I was bought a book by my brother, an English grammar book from the UK, Nesfield's grammar book. So I'll suggest to you, you can follow this book if you want to develop your grammar. I'm going to write it here. So it is Nesfield English Grammar. I have heard that this book is now, oops, sorry, wrong spelling. Nesfield English Grammar. I've heard that this book is also available in PDF form in internet, but during those days, I'm talking about before 2000, you know, it was only the paper-based printed version. That was, I believe, that my first book, which was always English to English, because there is no other translation of my mother tongue. Okay. Hi, Firoj. Thanks for the subscription. Would you like to join? I've invited you.
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome.
Yes, sir. Screen is not visible, sir.
I can hear you. Where are you from and what
Okay.
do you do?
Sir, I am from Uttar Pradesh. Where are you from? India.
I'm from
Uttar
England.
Pradesh state. UP state. India. Yes, sir.
You're from Uttar
Sir, where are you
Pradesh.
from?
I'm from
And you,
England.
sir? England.
Yes.
Acha, so NRI subcontinent region you are from. Your name suggests that you will be from Pakistan or somewhere. Pakistan, Bangladesh, or India.
I was born in Bangladesh.
Migrated there. Migrated there. UK.
Yes, I migrated here. That's right.
Oh, okay, okay.
So may I
Thank
know
you.
what you do, Firoz?
Sir, I am in computer science engineering graduate from Vellore Institute of Technology, Vyat University. It is in Vellore, Tamil Nadu region, South India.
Okay. And are you working
Yes,
at
sir.
the moment?
Yes, I am working self-employed and I am also searching for other jobs.
So what's your
Sir.
specialty in your job?
Job. So I BTech graduate in computer science engineering, but to balance work-life balance, for I am trying to change that. Like, in I want to make my career in education sector, education training. So I am preparing for government job right now. I want to prepare in future those PGT, TGT teacher, Uttar Pradesh board and national board. For that I preparing. like
Okay.
12 teachers and graduate teachers teaching government jobs. Mm,
Government job.
yes, sir.
Okay. What's your first language?
Mm. First language is, sir, basically my mother tongue is Urdu. Then since I live there, I am from Uttar Pradesh. So there is great heritage of Persian language and Urdu language in my this in northern India. You know, Mughal.
Mm-hmm.
So Urdu and Hindi I know, but my medium school medium is Hindi. Most often northern state of India, like Uttar Pradesh,
Mm-hmm.
their medium is Hindi. So up to 12, I have studied Hindi, and I am very fluent in Hindi, Urdu, and I know basic. I can read Arabic and Sanskrit, and this is English. English after in engineering, I studied that English medium. So
Okay. Tell me, how do you say in Urdu, welcome to my program in Urdu?
हाँ हाँ आपका आप तशरीफ लाइए मेरे शिरकत करिए
Thank you.
सैया
Right. Okay. So
वेलकम मतलब
your
पैर
computer
सर आपके
computer
हाँ यस सर
engineering, was it 3 years course or 4 years course?
no BTech 4 year course BTech computer bachelor of technology it is 4 year computer science engineering course
Okay.
BIT University.
After finishing your degree, did you work elsewhere as a self-employed or as a
Yeah, self
fully?
inspired and home business and at my hometown there was agricultural land, so I also had then business personal business and tutoring home online tutoring educating through online various platform and YouTube channel. The various platform like Zoom, Cloud, there are very edtech companies, educational technology based on they
So,
integrate the education and
so did you
yes,
also teach through online?
yes, sir. MS Team on MS Team, Microsoft Team, that applications, Zoom software applications on those platform.
Hmm.
Another company also asked me to join that, like Planet Spark and Byju's. These are companies. In Corona lockdown, many companies profited. Mhm.
Okay.
Basically, my all the system was online. Na Corona college was not open. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So you have subscribed to my lesson on a free trial basis. Let me explain
Yes,
briefly.
I thought this application is free, but when I thought at least half of the content will be free. But when I subscribed everything, I gave my all the data information. Now I don't see any much free trial. There are so many applications on Google Play Store on English content where you can everything is free. If previously this app used to be free, most of the material on this application, but now they are charging the price.
How long have you been using this application?
No, 2 years now I installed it. I just
So
now.
you
There
s-
are other application, IELTS, TOEFL, and IELTS applications. So many on every subject basically, and you can get tons of content on every matter. Computer science, mathematics, or if all that you have to do. You have some 10,000 rupee a smartphone or laptop, some 10 to in India, and data connection. You will get ad on YouTube channel, internet, and applications. So many. So I don't know why the other competitive apps there are for like IELTS preparation. Similarly, if you go Play Store, there is more subscriber, but they are this in this they are charging.
okay.
So it's
Let
will
let me
feedback
explain.
that my son.
Let me explain, Firoz. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
using this
yes, sir.
application, downloading is totally free. Okay. So when you go for your own live
Mm.
stream, you can bring other people. That is totally free. You don't have to pay
Yes, sir.
anything. But when you're joining a teacher, then there are few options. You have taken free options, free trial lessons, and you'll get two
Mm.
lessons, as they have mentioned, and they won't charge any money from your account.
Mm. Okay,
Okay.
sir.
And after that, if you think
Mm.
that the classes are helpful or supportive or beneficial,
Mm.
possibly you might consider
Mm.
to subscribe with your money, which is $16 for a
Mm.
whole month for 8 lessons.
For teaching other students, I have to pay.
For
Suppose suppose if one is instructor at this platform, I on this application,
Mhm.
he is teaching English to other students. So he
That's
had
right.
to he will be paid or he will be paying
The,
this application.
the
fee.
students will pay to the teacher, not the teacher, the Hallo. Okay,
Okay, okay, okay, okay.
all right. So each lesson is
Yes, sir.
$2. So 8 lessons, $16 in a month, and each class has a 1 hour duration, and the system starts on time, shuts down on time automatically. So if you miss a lesson or class, that's gone. It won't be repeated. But
Okay,
it
okay,
might be recorded underneath the teacher's account. You may be able to watch.
okay, okay.
Any other question?
No, sir. Sir, what did you say? $8? Could you repeat that?
I didn't say
It's
$8.
$16. What?
I said each class
Eight two?
is $2. So there are 8 classes
Okay,
in a month, 2 classes
okay.
every week. If when you're
Hmm.
subscribing Hello with your money,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
And
Yes,
I
sir. Yes, sir.
mentioned classes start on time, finishes on
Yes,
time
sir.
automatically. So it is going to be finished in 30 seconds. And
Yes, sir.
each class has 60 minutes or 1 hour duration. All right.
Yes, sir.
And also, when you have subscribed to teacher, you are the part of the subscriber chart. And when your
Okay,
subscription is over, then it will be removed automatically by the system. There is nothing
okay.
related with the teacher.
Hmm.
Okay. Anyway, the time is over. Thank you very much. I'll see
Yes, sir.
you next time. You take
Thank you,
care
sir. Thank you. Thank,
and bye.
thank you.